Hey everybody, my name's Cameron. I work at dotloop. Today we're going to be going over the new feature called dotloop Messenger. Hopefully you had the time to read the articles before and get yourself a little bit familiar with it, but if not, don't worry. We'll go through all the features and functionality today. Okay, so first things first, what is dotloop Messenger? You can think of it as a way to communicate with your clients or really anyone involved in this transaction, sort of how you would normally. So via text message, via email, but we've actually supercharged that experience by including some of the key dotloop functionality. I think the best way is probably to demo this, so let's get into this. So right now what you're looking at, I'm emulating two phones actually. So on the right-hand side, I have my Android phone, and you'll see I have the dotloop app installed. The left-hand side is an iPhone, and you'll see we're going to incorporate someone into that later, but we're going to be simulating an experience where I am as an agent or a broker or anyone trying to share a document and communicate with a client, so a normal buyer or seller. Okay, so we are in the app. You'll notice first things first, we have a new tab down here. It's called Messages. So if you have the app, be that Android or iOS, you'll see it down there. We click on it. And first things first, you're hit with this. So dotloop Messenger gives you a little bit of context of what this is. And we need to verify your phone number. And we'll get into why we need to do that a little bit more, but the phone number is crucial to all the communications in dotloop Messenger going forward. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be clicking on verify my phone number. And at this point, I'm going to enter my phone number. So I have a 415 number. I'm going to enter it in here, 2793. I hit next. I'm in the United States. You can adjust that if you're obviously not. I hit next. And what's going to happen right now is I get sent a message with a short code. And that short code, in the case of an Android phone, what it just did is it pulled down that short code and automatically inserted it for me, so it verified me. If you're an iOS user or an iPhone user, that code's going to come as a text message, which you could see it came on Android like here. So the code was 541558. Just copy that code, write it down, put it in that line, and you'll automatically be verified. So one-step process. You won't have to do that again going forward, and you'll be totally good to go. And it's actually on an account level. So if you get a new phone or anything like that, as long as you're signing with the same account, you're always verified. So this is our new landing screen. I gave a fresh demo account for this, so you'll see I have no new messages. We'll see a little bit later what that looks like when we actually do have messages. First things first though, let's create a message. So I'm going to create a message by hitting this button down here in the bottom right-hand corner. Looks like a little pencil. Click that. Couple things here. One, there's a prompt to enter a name, phone number, or email. Simple as that. I can start a group conversation, which we will do a little bit later. We're going to start with a one-on-one conversation. And the next thing I can do is it's prompting me to say, make it easy to find people. So what we're asking for is permission to look on your phone for all the contacts that exist on your phone. I'm gonna hit allow. That's gonna be the system prompt right here. Allow dotloop to access your contacts. Allow. This is a developer phone. We don't actually have a ton of contacts in here because it's not a real phone. But imagine if you were in a scenario where you had hundreds and hundreds of contacts, they would all be there. We also pull down any dotloop contacts that you would have. So anytime that you shared with someone in the past, those are all merged in there as well. So from here, I'm going to enter a phone number. I'm going to be messaging my friend Pat over here. He's in the 513, so 513-307. 4176. Great. So it's a one-on-one conversation. I'm going to start this, hit send. And I'm in this conversation. So this is what a normal conversation thread looks like. We have a little prompt on the bottom that says beginning of a conversation with the phone number. If it was pulled from a contact or an email, for instance, you would obviously see that contextualized, be that the email address or the contact name. So I'm going to begin typing. Hey Pat, so nice to meet you. Please be on the lookout. Oops. For a purchase contract. So I hit send. A couple things are happening right now. One, it's being sent, which is great. You'll see on the right-hand side, there's that green check mark. That is delivery confirmation. So we know that was successfully sent to him. Below that, you'll see it was sent. So there's a sent receipt and then the timestamp. So sent today at 12:04. Now we're going to switch over to Pat's view. And keep in mind that Pat's view is on the left here. It's the iPhone, right? And he is your traditional buyer, seller. He does not have the dotloop app. And all he does is want to communicate with me and get this deal done. So he got a text message just in his normal iMessage. He can click on that, and you'll see, click on the message itself. This text message came as any normal text message would come. If you're texting your wife, texting your friend, just quite frankly, is a normal text message. It gives the prepended my name, so my name's Cameron Swiggett, and then the message itself is right there. Now Pat can respond to me using this, so he doesn't have to have a dotloop account, doesn't have to have a dotloop app or anything. He just respond as he normally would. He can say whatever he'd like, hopefully something nice. So that gets sent normally. And then the cool thing is, so it gets automatically routed back into the dotloop app. So I have a receipt for when that was delivered and a couple other things. So one, I also got a text message. So this is my normal Android text messaging experience. So from the number he sent it from, and I got his number. So, hey, thanks, Cam. Look forward to it. I can respond to this text message. So right now, I'm not even the dotloop app. I can respond to this, and that's going to get both routed back to his phone, and it gets routed back in the dotloop app. There's a lot of great things for that, a lot of great reasons we do that. I think compliance is number one. We'll get into what compliance looks like going forward. What I'd like to do is show you what the sharing experience looks like. So while this is a normal text messaging experience, the way I mentioned it prior was that we've supercharged it by including some dotloop functionality, and sharing of documents is one key way to do that. So there's that paperclip icon down there. I click on that, and from this point, I am prompted to select the loop which I want to share a document with him. Once again, this is a demo account. I don't have a lot of loops. Wanted to make this nice and simple. There's a search button on the upper right-hand corner here, so I could search by the loop name if I had a ton of them to sort by. Also, if I had multiple profiles, I'd be selecting different profiles up top as well. That said, super simple. We have one loop, so I'm going to click on that guy. I'm going to hit next. Now, next, we're prompted to select a document or multiple documents. You can send as many documents as you like. So I have one document in one folder. It's an agreement to purchase. I'm going to select that. There's 4 steps. So this is the third step. We need some contact information before we can send it to him. So we're going to call him Pat. His last name is Buyer. We're going to call him Pat Buyer. If I could type at Gmail. And then we're going to give him a role. So the role is really important for a couple reasons, but the biggest one is that when I'm sharing this document and there's certain fields associated with that document that are based on role, it's automatically going to be assigned to him, so he's going to have a smooth experience. Final step is permissions. What permissions do we want to give him? I select the Set Access button, and I have the normal dotloop permissions that you're hopefully familiar with. I'm going to give him can, fill, and sign. Gives you a little spiel on what can, fill, and sign means. Set permission. There's also this button up here if you want more context of what these permissions mean. So we always give more access to that. Feel free to toggle that whenever you want some context to that. So we have an actual preview. So it's a little bit small, obviously, but that is what the front page of that document looks like. The title of the document, the loop which it came from, and obviously the permission that we selected. If I selected multiple documents, you'd see them stacked up like that. That X right there would be the ability to delete that, obviously from sending. So you're not deleting it from the loop or anything like that, but you're saying, oh, I selected 3, but in reality, I actually want to send 2, whatever the case may be. I think everything looks great, so we're going to go ahead and share it with him. So this is being sent right now. And now let's switch back to Pat's view. So he's back in his iMessage. He's the buyer, right? He doesn't have the app. Doesn't even know what dotloop is. But he's now gotten this agreement. He selects that link, and he's gonna click on that link, and here we are. So this is his new signing experience. He's an MWeb. He doesn't have an app. He's totally good to go. We're not prompting him to sign anything, or rather to sign up for an account or register or anything like that. So he gets to scroll through, and I've assigned him a couple fields at the bottom that he'll hopefully be able to sign and write some friendly notes to myself. So right now he's editing the document live. Great. Nice, easy experience. He's giving our signature. Perfect. I think just his initials. Once he gives us the initials, that should be the final step. He's going to share it back with me. Success, I'm done. Cool. We get notification that he has signed it, and that is over here. So great. So now one of my favorite features of dotloop Messenger is that I'm on a phone, right? We all have limited real estate in terms of screen size for us to navigate some of these lengthy and verbose documents. So what we've done here is automatically shared it back. So it's back in the Messenger, super easy to see that he's completed it, what time he completed it. I also have this opened today, so I know what time he actually opened the original document, how long it took him to complete it, yada, yada, all great on that end. But the part I like the most are what we call these document changes or deltas. So we have the agreement here, and then below it, these are all the changes that he has actually made on that document. So he's changed a text field to 2 months, a date to August 1st. He put his name in there. He signed a field and the initial field. So this is awesome, right? So imagine that you shared 4 documents, you have tons of fields signed on there, and you don't have the time or wherewithal to go through and start looking and scanning through all these documents. We've made it really quick and easy for you to digest all the information. So while we're in the single conversation, a couple other things for you to note. We have this button on the upper right-hand corner. It looks like a little person in a calendar window. That is context to who Pat the buyer is. His first name, I haven't given him a middle name yet, but I could, or a middle initial. His last name, the cell phone, which we obviously started the conversation with, and then the email, which we took when we were creating the contact information we were sharing. So all that's editable. We have a couple other things up here. So this call button, if I were to click this call button, we would start to call him as your native dialer, make that nice and simple. And then we also have an email button, which will dump you back into your email clients if you'd like to send them an email that way. So all the contact information is there, it's saved, it goes back into your loop. We have the two-way communication on that front. And then I mentioned it earlier, and this is one exciting feature, is we have this compliance element, right? So Pat and I have now had a lengthy conversation. Imagine that we've communicated over the course of 20, 30 days. And what we can do at this point is I'd like to keep record of everything that I've shared with him, plus every message that he sent and every message that I have sent, including timestamps and everything. I click this 3 little arrow, or rather 3 little dots on the upper right-hand corner, and I have an export conversation here. So I can export this, and then I'm prompted to add a message. So what we're doing is we're going to email me to the email address I have on this account, a CSV document of every bit of this conversation that's ever occurred. I can add a message to myself if I want to add some context to it, but right now I could just say send, and I'll get a email receipt of all that information. At that point, I can throw it in the loop. I can have fun with it, have some compliance going forward. Maybe it's not the most fun, but it is very helpful. I think next what I'd like to do is, well, here, we're back in the message thread. So at this point, we've replaced that initial welcome message where you had no messages, start a new one. Now I have a list of 1 of all the messages I've created. We'll see what that looks like when we add more. How we're going to add more is we're going to create a group conversation. So once again, click the arrow, or rather click the pencil. Same message you've seen before. On Android, I'm going to click this Start Group Conversation button. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select Pat. How would I want to contact him? I also want to do phone, because he's been really responsive on the phone. And I'm going to also message someone else. Caroline Agent 22 at gmail.com. Cool. So we're creating a group conversation. Now it's with 2 people. You can imagine perhaps their husband and wife looking to buy, or any scenario you can imagine. That said, we can have a conversation with hundreds of people if you want. So don't think that's as limited as a single couple. Let's make it 2 for this demo. I'm going to hit next. Unlike the single conversation, when we do a group conversation, you're prompted to give a group conversation name. And this is a name that everyone's going to see. So both Caroline and Pat are going to see this name. So I'm going to call it dotloop demo. Gonna click done. Now I'm in this. So you have created the group demo. It says at the bottom with 2 others. Everyone can reply and see each other's messages. So this is no different than a group conversation that you would have with your friends when you're doing text messaging. Now, what's really unique about this is if you notice, we're doing a conversation with an email address and with a phone number. So that makes it quite unique in my opinion. So that way, if you're having to communicate with, for instance, a husband and wife, and you happen to not have the wife's phone number, you can still have this conversation going forward. So we look on the left, we're looking at the iPhone, and Pat's experience is he got a text message again, just as he did prior. It's a new text message. And what it's saying is that a group conversation has been formed between you and the other email address. And then it's with me. So I'm CameronS+9@dotloop.com. So we've given context to everybody who's in this conversation, who's in the conversation. And then it says replies will be routed to all participants. So I can start typing. Maybe we'll make it short. Hey guys, great to meet you. I hit send. We get sent when it was sent by confirmation it was sent. Now Pat once again has gotten this experience. So Cameron Swiggett wrote, hey guys, great to meet you. Pat can reply. But at the same time, Caroline has got an email, and she has gotten an email that says that you have a conversation. There's a link to it. She clicks on that link, and then she's prompted no sign-in page, nothing, right? She's just prompted a single conversation screen that she can see the conversation that has currently occurred, and then she can also reply to it. So Pat has already replied. He said, thanks, Cameron. You see on the left, it's already routed to my experience. And Caroline will have the opportunity to reply as well. And when she replies, we will all get it. I think group conversations, I mean, look, they happen with everybody right now. Everyone wants to be informed during a transaction. Oh, great. Caroline responded. So then she wrote thanks as well. So she responded once again through the email experience. She got a really simple link. She opened it. She responded. She can see all responses going forward. Hopefully she'll download the app, get a better experience that way. But if she doesn't want to, if she doesn't want to create an account, anything like that, she's totally good to go. So this is a group conversation. Nothing is radically different except one component. So as of right now, you cannot share a document with a group conversation. We're really excited to get this product out to you guys, and we launched it last Monday. The development team is actually working as we speak on how we can get group sharing. It's our top priority. We'll get it to you ASAP. But so hold on that one. So sharing for right now is a one-to-one conversation thing, but we're really excited to launch group sharing as quickly as possible. We still have some of the rest of the functionality here. So I click on that. Sorry, maybe I jumped the gun there. I click on that little person with the calendar looking thing in the upper right hand corner. I'm sure there's a technical term, but we've taken back to who's in this conversation. So Pat the buyer, we click on this, same information that we had for him before, right? First name, last name, cell phone number, email address. I can call him directly, email him directly, totally good to go. And I also have Caroline. So I have the opportunity to save some information. She's also Caroline the buyer. I could add her cell phone in here if I wanted to, but we'll leave her alone for the time being. I can click save, and now that information has saved, and no longer are we showing her email address, but we're showing her contact information, which is Caroline the buyer. And much like a single conversation, you can export this conversation. So if I exported it, nothing's radically different. I click export, same thing, right? I have the opportunity to email myself, only me, it's only going to go to me, the entire contents of our messages. They come as a CSV, timestamps, who sent what, when they sent it, yada, yada. Finally, that is the overview for both single and group conversations. The final thing I'd like to demo with you guys is how notifications work. So if you've probably noticed, I have gotten notifications, both, we call them push notifications. So those are the notifications that the dotloop app has sent me. And I've also gotten a text. So in parallel, I've gotten a text notification. And if I actually had my email settings on for this phone, I've also gotten an email. So we're giving you a whole array of ways to alert the fact that you have a brand new message. If it turns out you don't want to be alerted 3 times for every message that comes in, we're with you on that. We'll have the opportunity to change that. So click on the hamburger menu, the 3 lines, upper left-hand corner. you've taken to this view. You have your what profile I'm in, people, templates. Then there's a settings button on the bottom here. If I click on settings, the top screen here is manage notifications. I click that, and these are notifications for the app. And then there's a specific subsection, which is the bottom one right here where it says messages. And there's push notification, email, and text. You can toggle those on however you like. So if you, for instance, only want push notifications, so once again, that's the notification that our app generates that you can respond to and do everything and view documents with, maybe you want that. Maybe you're like me and you want push notification and text and don't want the email to come in. You have all the ability to customize that as you see fit. And once again, you can reply to all three. So if you're more comfortable with the text and you want to reply to the text, by all means. If you want both, if you want all three, whatever makes you guys the most efficient at your jobs, we're trying to give you those opportunities. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining. We will be emailing out a recorded version of this, but once again, any future questions, email me, beta@dotloop.com. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.